I'm going to actually just run a multi-thread demo, but a lot of the concepts and everything that I'm doing here in this demo all apply to if you were running a parallel job in a cluster. So I'm going to start just running through a script here, and what I'm going to do is run a command that says TotalView, and my name of my program is called Thread Workers. So let's go on and launch TotalView here. And we'll make our window a little bit bigger so we can see across it. So TotalView is started up on here. It looks kind of like an IDE going across. We have dockable windows that we can move around. And I'm just going to simply start running it by pushing the green button here. Now this application is a Qt-based GUI application. Let's make a little room for it so we can see it. And what it's going to do is launch 4 threads that are going to simulate doing work, and they're going to each feed information up to the GUI thread that's running here. So the application's running. Let's halt it and take a look at what TotalView sees here. So on the left here, this process and threads view is showing an aggregated display of the state of the process, which is stopped, the state of all the threads, which are stopped. They're sitting in a location called pull no cancel. We just halted them. They just happen to sit somewhere. And then I do have all the individual threads turned on here. So all of these properties are controlled through a property sheet here. And I can turn on and off all of this information. So I could shut off my thread ID and process ID if I wanted to. And I can reorder these. And this allows me to see the state of my job very easily here. Now I can also focus of which process or thread I want to do work on. So right now I'm focused on thread 1 in process 1. I only have a single process in this case. And I want to run this one thread. This initial thread is the GUI thread here. So I'm going to change my focus selector from group all the way down to thread level. And I'm going to click go on this. What we'll see is now that one thread is running, so my display is updated. Let's do that for one of my worker threads now here. And I can do the same on this. And now we see one of my counters going along here. I can do the same for another thread and run that one. So I have individual thread control going on this. So let me switch back to process level here, and I'm going to halt everything. I'm going to focus on one of my threads. And in my call stack on the right over here, I'm going to move up to one of the frames where one of the threads goes through and is actually doing some work. Now, one of the other capabilities of TotalView, because it's a parallel debugger, is I can set breakpoints that go through. So let's click on line 51 and set a breakpoint there. By default, breakpoints are set at process level, but I can change that to say either stop a whole group of processes or even down to individual threads. So let's stop at that thread level now. And again, I'm going to run my whole process, and it will go through. And now one thread that goes through this path on here has stopped at that breakpoint, and my other 3 threads are still running along here as well. So again, let's halt. And we will go through it and use another capability in TotalView called an evaluation point. So I'm going to click at line 49, and I'm going to create an evaluation point. Now, an evaluation point allows me to put a bit of code at this location and execute that. I can write the code in C, C++, or Fortran. So I'm going to do an if statement here. I'm going to say if each of these threads has a variable called worker, if it equals 3, then I want to stop the particular thread. All the other threads will keep working on here. I could put other directives in here of stopping the whole process. I can visualize an array. I could change the value of a variable. I can call to a function such as printf or any other function to do some work or print out some information. So let's create that evaluation point. And we are going to run the whole process again on here. And now we go through, and again, so at line 49, one thread has stopped on here, and we're focused on that thread. If I look at my title bar, we're focused on thread 4. If I hover over worker, the value is 3. All of the others are still running on here. So let's stop this process again. So that's a quick demo of some of the capabilities here at the thread level. But everything I've done, if I were running in a parallel job into a cluster, I can do all of that individual control on processes and ranks in my cluster. I can look at the values of variables across there. I can set breakpoints and stop a particular process, or even down to a particular thread in a process or a rank running in that cluster.